Sometimes life presents us with unexpected gifts, and although they may not be pleasant, it's important to make a decision on whether they should be accepted. The story in today's episode helps you decide if this is the right time or if it's better to reject them. One day, a man came across an amazing in Cheyenne, China, and were unsure how to proceed. The young man named Lee was returning home from work in the evening, just like he always does. It was rather late already, but the street was lit by the street lamps. Suddenly, he noticed that something was slowly crawling along the road, unable to get over the guardrail into the neighboring forest. Getting closer, Lee discovered that it was a hedgehog. He'd never seen hedgehogs there before. How the poor creature got there will remain a mystery forever. Lee was worried that the animal could get hit by a car, so without wasting another minute, he carefully climbed over the guardrail and wrapped the little creature in his jacket. The young man decided to take the hedgehog home until morning and then take it out into the forest the next day. Back home, he put the animal in a box, and then he put the box in a quiet, dark place. Then Lee went online to learn what to feed the animal. Out of the whole list, Lee only had apples and carrots, so he cut them into small pieces and treated the guest. However, the frightened animal refused to eat. Lee went to bed having no idea what kind of surprise would be waiting for him in the morning. The next day, Lee immediately went to check up on the hedgehog. Looking into the box, the man saw that a miracle must have happened, because there were 9 hedgehogs in the box instead of just 1. It turned out that the hedgehog had babies. Lee contacted the Shenyang Animal Rescue Service. When the volunteers arrived, they were surprised to find that the man already had a whole family of cute, thorny animals. Even though the quills were still very soft and rare at the time, they will become real quills just a few days later. By the way, it is very rare for the hedgehog to have 8 babies at a time, so the kind man didn't just save 1 animal, he saved 9. And how often do you see hedgehogs running around in your neighborhood? These amazing creatures don't like to be around people, but if a person manages to see one, they will definitely decide to admire it, even despite its quills. If you'd like to hear some interesting facts about hedgehogs that you definitely didn't know before, then have a listen. Hedgehogs appeared on Earth about 15 million years. The average hedgehog has about 10,000 quills, which are renewed every 3 years. The quills grow for a very long time, about a year. But fortunately for the hedgehog, their renewal occurs gradually. The hedgehog has 36 teeth, which can fall out by old age, like in humans. Hedgehogs suffer from tick bites more than any other animal. When the hedgehog runs along the grass, its quills collect all kinds of parasites like a comb. And it's also their quills that make it hard for the hedgehog to get rid of the ticks. One hedgehog can house up to tens of thousands of ticks in just one season. This ability of the hedgehogs to collect a huge number of ticks was noticed by the scientists. The parapsychologists began to use hedgehogs to quantify ticks and natural foid encephalitis. There is a special unit of accounting called hedge hour, which is used to measure the number of ticks collected by a hedgehog during 1 hour of running through the focal area. During hibernation, the hedgehog's body temperature drops to 1.8 degrees Celsius. Over the summer, it needs to store as much fat as possible because if an ordinary hedgehog goes into hibernation without a sufficient supply of fat, less than 500 grams, then it risks dying of hunger during the winter. After hibernation, it doesn't leave the nest until the air temperature rises to 15 degrees Celsius. After waking up, the hedgehog is a walking embodiment of hunger. The animal spends its time exclusively in search of food. Most species of hedgehogs have a tail, although it is very short, only 3 centimeters. Despite the fact that hedgehogs can distinguish colors, they're partially blind by their nature. On the other hand, they have very keen hearing and a subtle sense of smell. Eared hedgehogs differ from their earless ones, and that they are extremely reluctant to curl up in a ball in case of danger. This species of hedgehogs runs very fast, and it's rather hard for a ground predator to catch up with it. If the enemy catches up with the eared hedgehog, it jumps up and tries to prick its opponent. Another interesting fact is the hedgehog's immunity to snake venom. Although they don't hunt snakes on purpose, if the opportunity arises, the hedgehog will devour the viper with great appetite. Snacking on a dangerous poisonous snake is a common thing for the thorny animals. In the worst case scenario, A snake bite may cause a little swelling in the hedgehog. That's if the reptile bites into the soft tissue, not protected by the quills. It has been experimentally proven that the amount of poison that can kill about 45 rabbits has no effect on the hedgehogs. Hedgehogs don't hunt mice. That's a myth. They probably wouldn't mind feasting on a mouse, but they're incapable of catching it. We often see hedgehogs carrying apples on their backs in children's books. In fact, the hedgehogs can't carry apples, mushrooms, or any other large objects on their quilts. They're physically incapable of curling up in a way that would allow them to do so. Hedgehogs can be tamed easily, and they get along well with other pets, dogs, and cats. But few people can keep hedgehogs at home because of their loud stomping. Paleontologist Robert Carob found that both hemispheres of the hedgehog's brain are absolutely smooth and so small that they don't even cover the cerebellum. That is, a hedgehog isn't even as smart as a mouse. Nevertheless, any hedgehog will be glad to come into contact with a human, and will even be able to memorize the simplest commands. Hedgehogs can even be trained to use a litter box, but the animals are more likely to choose a place to use the toilet on its own, and that place should be equipped according to the animal's needs. The domestic hedgehog diet should consist mainly of raw, lean, chopped meat, boiled liver, and fresh. They can also be treated to bloodworms, mealworms, crickets, cockroaches as a delicacy. Apples and carrots can also be part of the hedgehog's diet. It isn't recommended to offer the domestic hedgehogs earthworms, snails, slugs, and cockroaches called in nature, as they can be infected with parasites and can cause the animal to get sick. A tragic story happened in 2006. The McDonald's fast food chain were responsible for the deaths of many hedgehogs. Although the McFlurry cups might be too small for the hedgehogs to eat the ice cream themselves, they were able to lick what remained of it because their heads were able to fit inside. This led to many poor animals getting stuck inside McFlurry cups and eventually dying from hunger. In 2006, after protests from wildlife advocates, the opening of the McFlurry cups was reduced by diameter, so that hedgehogs are now safe. There are many vegetarian dishes the Roma people love to eat. One of them is a hedgehog, cooked or fried. Serbian folk medicine talks about how hedgehog urine is used to cure alcoholism, and that's about it for today. I hope you liked this video. Please give us thumbs up. Consider share it with your friends and family. Also, press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.